Hello students, welcome to our channel Mushrooming Your Knowledge. Today we will discuss the second part of enzymology. If you are new in today's class, then please visit the first part of the class. The link is provided into the description box. So today we will learn the inhibition of enzyme. Before going to the main part, you should know about the double reciprocal plot. The concept of double reciprocal plot is given by Lineweaver and Burke in 1934. They made a simple mathematical alteration in the Michaelis-Menten equation by plotting a double inverse of substrate concentration and reaction rate. This is the Michaelis-Menten equation, and by taking the reciprocal of both sides of the Michaelis-Menten equation, we get this equation. By calculating, we get the final equation, which is 1 by V0 is equal to Km divided by maximum velocity into substrate concentration plus 1 divided by maximum velocity. So, if we compare this final equation with the straight line equation, which is y is equal to mx plus b, then we get this. This is 1 by V0 represented by y, Km by Vmax represented by m, 1 by substrate concentration represented by x, and 1 by maximum velocity is represented by b. So, based on this, if we plotted all these value in this graph, we can get the straight line. So, the slope is the Km divided by maximum velocity, and the y axis represents the 1 by V0 and the x axis represents 1 by substrate concentration, and this point represents the 1 by Km, and this y intercept represent 1 by maximum velocity. All these values are reciprocal. This graph is very important because based on this graph all the inhibition models are described. Okay. So, next come to the main part, that is enzyme inhibition. By hearing the term, you can understand that inhibitors are some molecular agents that inhibits the activity of enzyme. So, the enzyme inhibition can be reversible or can be irreversible. When it is reversible, that means the enzyme and the inhibitors present in a non-covalent interaction. Non-covalent interaction is breakable, that is why this interaction is reversible. If the enzyme inhibition is irreversible, that means enzyme and the inhibitors are bind with each other by any covalent interaction. Sometime maybe it may be non-covalent interaction also, permanent non-covalent interaction, but in maximum case the irreversible interaction is produced by the covalent interaction. So, we will discuss first the reversible inhibition. So, there are three types of reversible inhibition: competitive inhibition, uncompetitive inhibition and non-competitive inhibition. The non-competitive inhibition is a special kind of mixed inhibition. So, first coming to the competitive inhibition. This is the graph of the competitive inhibition. The red line depicts the when inhibitor is present and the blue line depicts when no inhibitor is present. That means the control. Blue line represent the control graph and the red line represent when the inhibitor is present. Okay. You can see here when the inhibitors are present, then the Km is increased. Actually the Km present here at first when no inhibitors are present, but when inhibitors are added to the medium, then the graph, then the value of Km moves from here to here. So, that means the value of Km is increased, but other points remains unaffected. You can see here the Km is increased and the Vmax remains unaffected. Okay. The inhibitor competes with the substrate for the active site of enzyme. That means the inhibitors bind with the enzyme at their active site. Once the inhibitor bind with the enzyme, then they form the enzyme inhibitor complex and never get dissociate from it. Okay, I can write here the equation: enzyme plus substrate produce the enzyme substrate complex and then produce enzyme and product. Okay. So, competitive inhibitors bind with the enzyme here and thus produce the enzyme inhibitor complex. Okay. So, the inhibitor binds with the enzyme at the active site by competing with the substrate. So, if we increase the concentration of substrate in our medium, then the inhibitory mechanism can be overrid. Okay. So, for example, a competitive inhibitor is malonate. Malonate inhibits the succinate dehydrogenase. Okay, succinate dehydrogenase is an enzyme which is used in Krebs cycle, and succinate, when binds to succinate dehydrogenase, then they produce the fumarate. But when malonate is present, malonate inhibits the succinate and gets attached with the succinate dehydrogenase and thus inhibit the activity of succinate dehydrogenase. Okay. So, now coming to the uncompetitive inhibition. This is the graph of uncompetitive inhibition. The blue line here also depicts when there is no inhibitor, and the red line depicts when there is inhibitor. In that case, the Km is reduced and the Vmax is reduced. Both are affected, Km and Vmax both are affected. Okay. It is important for multi-substrate enzyme and not so significant for the single substrate reaction. Here the uncompetitive inhibitors binds the enzyme substrate complex, not at the active site, elsewhere, any other site. I can write here the reaction: enzyme plus substrate and then produce the enzyme substrate complex and then produce enzyme and product. So, uncompetitive inhibitors bind with that enzyme substrate complex and then produce enzyme substrate inhibitor complex. Okay. So, that means in case of uncompetitive inhibition, the inhibitors binds with the enzyme substrate complex and not to the enzyme, not to the active site. They bind to the enzyme substrate complex. So, as they do not compete with the substrate, so by increasing the substrate concentration does not reverse the reaction of the inhibitor. Okay. So, now coming to the last type of inhibition, that is non-competitive inhibition. In this case, they bind to the enzyme or enzyme substrate complex, but not at their active site. They bind to any other site that is distinct from the active site. It affects the Vmax, but the Km value remains unchanged. Okay. It also can overcome by high substrate concentration because it does not compete with the substrate. That is why if we increase the substrate concentration, that will never change the effect of the inhibitor. Okay, you can see here the Km value remains unchanged, but the Vmax value gets reduced. Okay. Hope that all these things are clear to you all. Now, coming to the irreversible inhibition of enzyme. So, at first start with the suicide inhibitor. Suicide inhibitors are mechanism based inhibitors. That means they are bind with the enzyme behaving like a substrate. They comes to the enzyme and they represent them as the substrate. That is why the enzyme gets attached to it, and they are also processed by normal catalytic process. Okay. Consequently, the substrate is converted into an intermediate that is chemically highly reactive. The enzyme and the inhibitor, which is bind to the enzyme from enzyme substrate complex, fully, they are fully activated. But from the enzyme substrate complex, what we get? We get the product, but in this case we cannot get the product. We can get an intermediate which is chemically highly reactive and causes the inactivation of the enzyme. Okay. So, the example of suicide inhibitor is DIPF or diisopropyl phosphofluoride. Penicillin is also a very important irreversible inhibitor of enzyme. Penicillin binds with their target enzyme by covalent interaction. Okay, they bind with the enzyme that is glycopeptide transpeptidase. It is a very important enzyme for the bacterial cell wall formation. This enzyme actually produces the D-amino acid which helps them to the cross linking in the peptidoglycan layer of the bacterial cell wall. So, if we inhibit this enzyme, then the bacterial cell wall can't form. So, the bacteria will die. So, penicillin gets attached with the serine residue of the in the active site of the glycopeptide transpeptidase, thus inhibit the cell wall formation and the bacterial growth is halted. Okay. Now come to the effect of temperature and pH. Temperature plays a very important role on the enzyme activity. If we initially increases the temperature, then the catalytic activity of the enzyme also increases, but at a certain point which is called as optimum temperature, after reaching that temperature, when we increase the value of temperature, then the enzyme starts to denature. That means after a certain point of temperature, the enzyme becomes denatured. Okay. And the pH also plays a very important role on enzyme. Various kinds of enzyme becomes activated at various pH. For example, pepsin, which is present in our stomach, becomes active in the acidic pH. Or another kind of enzyme is glucose 6-phosphatase, which becomes activated in the alkaline pH. You can see here the glucose 6-phosphate activated at pH 8 and the pepsin activated near about pH 2, which is acidic in nature. Okay. So, if the structure of a crucial amino acid is a changed and an altered pH, it may lead to a drastic difference in overall structure or catalytic activity of enzyme. Okay. So, we have already come towards the end of this class. Now, we will discuss some MCQs so that you can relate with this topic very efficiently. Come to the first question. Which of the following statement is true regarding the catalysis of enzyme? So, the answer will be option A. Enzyme increases the forward and reverse reaction rate, because enzyme only increases the rate of reaction. It does not play any role in another activity. Okay. The second question is, an enzyme catalyzing the reaction glycerate 3-phosphate to glycerate 2-phosphate would have an enzyme commission number with first digit. So, the glycerate 3-phosphate to glycerate 2-phosphate is a isomerization reaction. So, the enzyme isomerase catalyze this reaction and the isomerase belongs to the 5th class of enzyme. So, the answer will be option C. Number 3. Conversion of substrate present in large excess to product by an enzyme increased in a linear fashion for about 10 minutes, after which it was seen to plateau. This is because the enzyme has reached its maximum velocity. The graph of enzyme is like that. This is the plateau region and this happens when it reaches to the maximum velocity. Okay. So, the fourth question is, the enzyme follow Michaelis-Menten kinetics show a characteristic graph when substrate concentration is plotted against velocity. The nature of graph will be obviously hyperbolic. This is a hyperbolic graph, and when this graph is plotted when the Michaelis-Menten equation is plotted graphically. Okay. Next come to the fifth question. Identify the correct pairs for the different enzyme classes. So here the right option will be number C, because kinases transfer the phosphate group to biomolecules, the lyase cleave bonds by elimination, the synthase make large molecules from small molecules, and the phosphatase remove phosphate group from biomolecules. So the correct option will be C. Coming to the next question. Which of the following statements are true about enzyme inhibition? The first option is, in competitive inhibition maximum velocity stays same and Km increase. Obviously it is right. In pure non-competitive inhibition, substrate and inhibitor bind at different sites on enzyme, and binding of inhibitor does not affect the binding of substrate. Okay, it is also true. In mixed non-competitive inhibition, the binding of inhibitor with enzyme influences the binding of substrate with enzyme. This is also correct. The reversible inhibitors involve the non-covalent binding with enzyme. This is also correct. So the correct option is D. Now coming to the next question. Here is a graph, and the plot B is for what? So you can see here, this is the graph of competitive inhibition. Okay. So this is the control, and the Km value is here for the control graph. Okay. And for the plot A, the Km value is here, and the plot B, the Km value is here. Okay. So the right option is a non-competitive inhibitor at higher concentration than in plot A. This is not a non-competitive inhibition, it is a competitive inhibition. So the option A is wrong. The second option is a competitive inhibitor at lower concentration than in plot A. If we come back to the previous slide, then we can see that in case of plot B, the Km value is increased much more than the plot A. That means the concentration of inhibitor is present in much more amount. So the option B will also be wrong, and the option C is a competitive inhibitor at higher concentration than in plot A. So this is the right option. Okay. So the next question is, which of the following equation represent the reciprocal of Michaelis-Menten equation? So this is the right option. The enzyme have an optimum temperature at which they work best. Temperatures above the below this optimum will decrease the enzyme activity. Which graph best illustrate the effect of temperature on enzyme activity? So option C is correct, because gradually increasing temperature initially increase the rate of reaction, and after a certain temperature, that is optimum temperature, the enzyme starts to denature. So the last question is, penicillin act as a suicide substrate. Which one of the following step of catalysis does a suicide inhibitor affect? So here you can see the options. The penicillin obviously affect the K3 reaction, because penicillin acts as a irreversible inhibitor. It is a mechanism based inhibitor. That is why it binds with the enzyme as a substrate, then produce enzyme substrate complex, but it inhibits the dissociation of the enzyme from it. So it will inhibit the K3 step. So the correct option is option C. Hope the concepts are very clear to all of you. If you have any doubt regarding this topic, then feel free to ask in the comment box below. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, then do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon.